Om Bhurbhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया पालन कर रहा है तो तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तो तेरा महान तेज है छाया हुआ सभी स्थान सृष्टि की वास्तु वास्तु में तू हो रहा है विद्यमान तेरा ही धरते ध्यान हम मांगते तेरी दया ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. Join the palms together, rub them gently. Cover the eyes and open the eyes below the palms so that external light doesn't hit our eyes directly. And transfer the energy to the facial muscles. आप सभी लोगों का स्वागत है. Welcome to everybody. Chanting the Gayatri mantra in the form of bhajan and to understand the meaning. तूने हमें उत्पन्न किया, that is who give of life. पालन कर रहा है तो तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम दुखियों के कष्ट हरता है तो. So that's bhu and bhuva. Bhuva means remove of pains and sorrows. Then तेरा महान तेज है छाया हुआ सभी स्थान. ईश्वर illuminating all this universe. Then that refers to Savitas, the creator, sustainer, and dissolver of the universe. Tera hi dharate dhyan ham, that is dhimahi. Then मांगते तेरी दया ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर ले चले. Praying to Ishwar God. This is the prayer part of the Gayatri Mantra, which should always be remembered when we chant the Gayatri Mantra. We are asking for God to grant us, to grace us with an enlightened mind, to be able to know truth and untruth, dharma, dharma, and to assert ourselves in our duties and responsibilities. And this is the greatest wealth that we can have by having the enlightened mind, enlightened intellect, because with the enlightened intellect, we'll always be walking on the path of dharma, righteousness, and earn righteously on the path of earth. And enjoyment of that righteous earnings will also be on the path of righteousness, karma, and ultimately move on to mukti, moksha. Now moving to Ishwara Stuti Prarthana Upasana. Stuti, praising the virtues of God, to be able to catch them and implement them in our lives and in turn become virtuous. That is sprouting the divinity within us, the divine virtues within us. Prarthana, prayers, and prayers have to be done only after putting the efforts. Then upasana, meditation, communion with the self, and ultimately realize the self, that we are the soul within this body, and the body without the soul cannot do anything. Then connecting that soul, Atma, to Ishvara Paramatma, the Supreme Being, the Supreme Consciousness, the Supreme Soul. Atheshwara Stuti Prarthana Upasana Mantra. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Durita Niparasuva Yadbhadram Tannasuva Om Hiranyagarbha Samavartatagre Bhutasya Jatah Patirekāsit Sadādhāra Prithivim Dyamute Mam Kasmai Devaya Visha Vidhema Om Ya Atmada Balada Yasya Vishwa Upasate Trashisham Yasya Deva Yasya Chayamritam Yasya Mrityu Kasmai Devaya Visha Vidhema Om Yah Pranato Nimishato Mahitvaika Idra Jajagato Babhuva Ya Ishe Yasya Dvipadascha Tushpada Kasmai Devaya Visha Vidhema Om Ye Nadyo Rugra Prithivi Chadridha Ye Na Swasta Bhitam Ye Na Naka Yo Antarikshe Rajaso Vimana Kasmai Devaya Visha Vidhema Om Prajapate Natvadeta Ninyo Vishvajatani Parita Babhuva Yatkamaste Jo Mastanno Asto Vayam Syama Patayorainam Om Sano Bandhurjanita Savidhata Thamani Veda Bhuvanani Vishwa Yatra Deva Amrita Manashanastritiye Thaman Adhyairayanta Om Agnena Yasupataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjoranameno Puishtham Te Namauktim Vidhema Iti Shura Stuti Prarthana Upasana Prakaranam. Now, for Archman, please take water in the right palm. 3 times, 3 mantras, please take water 3 times, and sufficient water so that when we sip the water, it goes down the throat. Om Amrito Pastaranamasi Swaha. 2nd time. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. 3rd time. Om Satyam Yashashirmai Sheshayatam Swaha. Wash your hands. Then take water in the left palm for Angsparsh. Touching of various parts of the body, praying to Ishar God that he grants us the enlightened mind to command all the body organs to righteous actions. ईश्वर से हम याचना करें कि हे प्रभु आप हमारे आत्मा मन बुद्धि चित्त आदि को प्रेरित करें कि जिन इंद्रियों को हम स्पर्श करने जा रहे हो हमारे सुपथ सन्मार्ग पर चलने के लिए हमारे सहायक बने. Every action to be done at the end of the mantra. Om Vangamasyastu, Om Nasorme Pranostu, Om Akshanorme Chakshurastu, Om Karaniorme Shrotramastu, Om Vaorme Balamastu, Om Urvorma Ojostu, Om Marishtane Mangani Tanustanva Me Sasanto. Lighting of the lamp. Deepak Prajalan. Om Bhur Bhuvasva. Now, with camphor, introduce the fire into the Havan Kund at the end of this mantra. Om Bhur Bhuvasva. Dyoriva Bhumna Prithiviva Varimna. Tasyaste Prithivi Deva Yajani Prishthe Agni Mannada Mannadyaya Dadhe. Agni Samindhan Mantra. To get the fire blazing, formerly we used to bring the fire from the kitchen fire placed into the Havan Kund, the embers. Then we were fanning the fire to get it blazing. Since we've introduced the fire with camphor, so we'll pour 2 free spoonfuls of ghee to get it blazing now. Om Udbudya Svagne Pratijagri Tvamishta Purte Sansrije Thamayancha Asmin Sadhaste Yadyuttarasmin Vishve Deva Yajamanascha Sidata. Samidhadan, Pehli Samidha, the first Samidha dipped into ghee when we say Swaha with this mantra. Om Ayanta Idmatma Jata Vedaste Nedya Swavardha Swachedda Vardhaya Tasman Prajaya Pashuvir Brahma Varchase Nanadyena Samedhaya Swa Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Dusri Samidha, second Samidha. We have 2 mantras here. We'll be offering on the second Swaha, please. Om Samidhagnim Dovasyata Griter Vordayata Tithim Asmin Havya Jotana Swaha Idam Gneidan Namama. Om Susamvidhaya Shotishe Gritam Tivram Jotana Agnaye Jata Vedase Swaha Idam Agnaye Jata Vedase Idam Namama. Tisari Samidha, third Samidha with this mantra. Om Tantva Samidbhirang Giro Gritena Vardhayamasi Priyachotaya Vishaya Swaha Idam Agnengirase Idam Namama. Panchagrit Ahuti, offering of ghee to the fire to get it blazing, because soon after we'll be putting ghee and samagri so that the blazing fire does the process of combustion, burning to produce energy, and that energy will cause sublimation, evaporation and sublimation, evaporation of the essential oils in the ghee and samagri, the medicinal herbs, and sublimation, converting much of the solid particles of the samagri to microparticles, diffuse them as vapor into the air. And when we'll do the mantra part, take a long breath, deep inhale, and chant the mantra along with me. Otherwise, take a deep breath and say Om, slowly exhale till when we say swaha, full exhale, so that we'll do our pranayam along with the mantra chanting, so that the vapors get into our lungs, into our bloodstream, and that will help to boost our immune system. Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya swavarda swachedda vardaya Chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya sva idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardaya Chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase Namnadyena samedhaya svaha idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardaya Chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase Namnadyena samedhaya svaha idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardhaya Chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya sva idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama Om ayanta idmatma jata vedaste nedya svardha swachedda vardaya Chasman prajaya pashubhir brahma varchase namnadyena samedhaya svaha idam agnaye jata vedase idam namama Jal sechanam, sprinkling of water around the Havan Kund, first in the direction of the east. Om Adite Numanyasva to the west. Om Anumate Numanyasva to the north. Om Saraswati Numanyasva. Now all around the Havan Kund, starting from northeast, moving clockwise and finishing at the northeast, Ishan Disha, which is the direction of sunlight at sunrise in the spring and summer, and that's the source of physical light, inspiring us to always move towards light, and especially the light of knowledge. Om Deva Savita Prasvayadyam Prasvayadyapatim Bhagaya Divyo Gandharva Ketapo Ketanna Punatu Vachaspatir Vachanna Swadato. Ahutis of ghee, first in the north, then in the south, and the next two in the center. Pouring the ghee in streamlined form from northwest to northeast, southwest to southeast, moving towards the east, the direction of light, always inspiring us to move in the light of knowledge. Om Agnaye Svaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama South. Om Somaya Svaha Idam Somaya Idam Namama Center. Om Prajapataye Svaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama Om Indraya Svaha Idam Indraya Idam Namama. Ahutis of both ghee and samagri. Surya Jyoti for the morning and Agnir Jyoti for the evening, because morning we get sunlight, natural light, and evening we use artificial energy, the light bulbs, etc. So that's Agnir Jyoti. You have to master energy. Om Suryo Jyotir Jyoti Surya Svaha. Om Suryo Varcho Jyotir Varcha Svaha. Om Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Sva. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajurusha Jushana Suryaveto Swa. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotiragni Swa. Om Agnir Varcho Jyotir Varcha Swa. Om Swaha. Om Sajur Devena Savitra Sajuratrendраvatya Jushano Agnirveto Swaha. Om Bhuragnaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Agnaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhuvarvaive Panaya Swaha. Idam Vaive Panaya Idam Namama. Om Swaradityaya Vyanaya Swaha. Idam Adityaya Vyanaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvaswaragnivaivaditebhya Pranapan Vyanabhya Swaha. Idam Agnivaivaditebhya Pranapan Vyanabhya Idam Namama. Om Apo Jyotirasomritam Brahma Bhurvaswarom Swaha. Om Yam Medham Devagana Pitarashchopasate Tayama Madhyamedhayagni Medhavinam Kuru Swaha. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasva Yadbhadram Tannasva Swaha. Om Agnena Yasupatara Yasman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjohranameno Puishthante Namoktim Videma Swaha. Om Bhurvuvaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Some special mantras for today. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasva Yadbhadram Tannasva Swaha. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurvamritam Gamaya Swaha. Choosing a few mantras in the circumstances of the world of today with COVID. So Asatoma Sadgamaya, let's move from untruth to truth. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. Especially in today's world, we get all sorts of news which we take for granted to be the truth. Let's use our mind to sift the good, the truth from the untruth. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhabhag Bhavet Swaha. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, may all be happy, none be suffering. Sarve Santo Niramaya, let's be free from sickness and disease. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, whatever we look around us, be beneficial to us. And let's also be compassionate to whatever we see around us. Ma Kaschit Dukhabhag Bhavet, may we all move from pains and sufferings to bliss. Om Tejosi Tejomai Dehi Viryamasi Viryamai Dehi Balamasi Balamai Dehi Ojos Yojomai Dehi Manyurasi Manyumai Dehi Sahosi Sahomai Dehi Swaha. In this mantra we say Tejosi Tejomai Dehi. Ishwar God is the source of all energy, luster. make us also energetic and less stress. Viryamasi Viryamai Dei, God with all determination, willpower, and let us also be like that. Balamasi Balamai Dei, we say God as omnipotent, almighty, praying to Ishwar God to give us force power, to make us forceful. Then Ojos Yojo Mai Dei, Oj, Ishvara self-illuminating lustrous. May we also become shining in this world by virtue of our thoughts, our words, and our actions. By virtue of our gun, karma, sabhav, our character, our actions, and our nature. Then Manyu Rasi Manyum Mai Dei. Manyu is the anger against evil doings. We need compassion in life, but don't tolerate evil doings. Praying to God that the evildoers get the correct mind, the enlightened mind to move out of evil, but then not tolerate evil. Saho si saho maide. Ishwar God has all the patience to bear with whatever people do on this universe, but in due time gives us all the returns of our karma. Good yield for good karma and penalties for bad karma. So that's the patience God is having. And let's pray to God that we all have the patience, especially in these dire times of today, the world suffering. Next mantra. Om Tanupagnesi Tanvanme Payurva Agnesya Yurmede Varchodagnesi Varchomede Agne Yanme Tanma Tanva Unnam Tanma Prinaswa. So we're praying to Ishwar God, which we call Agni. Agni, the source of all energy in this universe, the source of all knowledge also. And the knowledge God has given us, the energy, various forms of energy throughout the world, may these protect us. Especially we are sitting around the Havan Kun. That's also one form of energy which diffuses in terms of vapors, whatever we are offering to the Havan Kun. So that will protect us. Then Ayurdagnesya Ayurmedehi. By doing Yad Havan, we promote our health, increase our life. But then by being virtuous, we have the inner peace. Otherwise, we'll be living a stressful life and shorten our life. So by living a life of virtue, righteousness, dharma, we'll enjoy inner peace, and that inner peace also will bring us long life. Another component, be careful on food and drinks, ahar. And the next component will be with sufficient exercise every day, yogasana and pranayam, physical and breathing exercise, as well as mental exercises by reading good things daily in life. That promotes good health, physical, mental, moral, and that will give us long life. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha. You have the kids among us. Who is there? Aryan? Gayatri Mantra and Trayambakam 3 times with Swaha. Just be a bit loud, please, so that everybody can hear you.
Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavituर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tatsavituर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा Om Bhurbhuvasः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मिबन्धनं मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मिबन्धनं मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुक्मिबन्धनं मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् स्वाहा.
It's great. Thank you. Shishtakrita Ahuti. If you have prasad, that's fine. Prasad and ghee, otherwise only ghee. Om Yadasya Karmanotyariricam Yadvyanyoन्मिहाकरम् Agnishta Shrishta Kridvidyat Sarvam Shrishtam Suhutam Karotu Me Agnaye Shrishta Krite Suhutahute Sarvprayashtita Hutenam Kamanam Samardetre Sarvanah Kaman Samardhya Svaha Idam Agnaye Shrishta Krite Idam Namama. Next ahuti of ghee only. Om Swaha Idam Prajapataye Idam Namama. Ghee and samagri for Purnahuti. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnam Swaha. Put everything down. Now join the palms together. Mahavam Devyagan. Three mantras from Samved. Praying to Ishwar God for Sukh, happiness, Shanti, peace, Samriddhi, prosperity. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Kayanashchitra bhuvaduti sada vrida sakha kayashachishtaya vrita Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Kastva Satyo Madanam Manghishto Matsadandasa Dridachidharuje Vasu Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Abhishona Sakhinam Avita Charitranam Shatam Bhavasyotaye Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha. Yajya Prarthana.
पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे भाग उज्ज्वल कीजिए छोड़ देवे छल कपट को मानसिक बल दीजिए वेद की बोले रचाए सत्य को धारण करे, हर्ष में हो मग्न सारे, शोक सागर से तरे। अश्वमेधादिक रचाए, यज्ञ पर उपकार को, धर्म मर्यादा चलाकर, लाभ दे संसार को। नित्य श्रद्धा भक्ति से यज्ञादि हम करते रहें, रोग पीड़ित विश्व के संताप सब हरते रहें। भावना मिट जाए मन से, पाप अत्याचार की, कामनाएं पूर्ण होवे, यज्ञ से नर नार की। लाभकारी हो हवन हर जीव धारी के लिए, वायु जल सर्वत्र हो, शुभ गंध को धारण किए। स्वार्थ भाव मिटे हमारा, प्रेम पथ विस्तार हो। इदम न मम का सार्थक, प्रत्येक में व्यवहार हो। प्रेम रस में मग्न होकर, वंदना हम कर रहे। नाथ करुणा रूप करुणा, आपकी सब पर रहे। पूजनीय प्रभु हमारे, भाव उज्ज्वल कीजिए। छोड़ देवे छल कपट को, मानसिक बल दीजिए। प्रभु आत्मिक बल दीजिए।
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। सबका भला करो भगवान, सब पर दया करो भगवान, सब पर कृपा करो हे महान। सबका सब विधि हो कल्याण, हे ईश सब सुखी हो। कोई सब हो निरोग भगवन, धन धान्य के भंडारी। सब भाद्र भाव देखे, सन्मार्ग के पथिक हो। दुखिया न कोई होवे, सृष्टि में प्राण धारी। हे नाथ सब सुखी हो, कोई न हो दुखारी। सब हो निरोग भगवन, धन धान्य के भंडारी। त्वमेव माताश्च पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं, संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं, सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे, भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि।
Now moving for Ashirvad. Join the palms together, close the eyes gently, Remember the grace of Ishwar. ईश्वर के आशीर्वाद जो है हम पर सदा बरसती रहती है. The grace of Ishwar is always flowing over us and all around us. It's only we have to make ourselves the proper recipient and not stand like a Colando strainer. We'll get nothing out of that. And to become the recipient of the grace of Ishwar God, we have to follow the teachings of the scriptures, the Vedas, Upanishads, etc. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. That is the only path, no other path for that. The basis is Dharma, righteous living. Through that will become the Patra, the recipient of the grace of God. Om Satya Santo Yajamanasya Kama. Om Purna Santo Yajamanasya Kama. Om Safala Santo Yajamanasya Kama. May the wishes, desires of the Yajaman be truthful. The truthful wishes and desires of the Yajaman be complete. And the truthful desires, wishes of the Yajman be complete with 100% success. Swasti Mantra. Om Swasti na Indro Vridhashrava Swasti na Pusha Vishveda Swasti na Saksharyo Arishtanemi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadhatu Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shinuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiriyajatra Sthirairangeishtoshtamang Sastanurvirvyashe Deva Yadayu Om Swasti 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste everybody. Our gratitude, thanks to Ishwar God for having given us the day of today, Samay Jodaya, then the means Samarthya, and the knowledge Jnana Vijnana for having this yaj of today. Thanks to Ishwar God for Mata Pita, the parents, Guru, the mentors, the teachers, and the rishis, the sages who have unfolded that knowledge, handed it over to us, and given us the sanskar to move in this direction. And last but not least, thanks to all those who directly or indirectly contributed to make this yaj of today complete. Thank you. Now turn for bhajan. Volunteers, please. Just raise your hand, unmute yourself, and proceed. Yes, Premji.
सुबह शाम भजन कर ले, मुक्ति भजन कर ले, आएगा जन्म मरण, प्रभु का सुमिरन कर ले, एक बार भजन कर ले। ये मानव का चोला हर बार नहीं मिलता, जो गिर गया डाली से वह फूल नहीं खिलता। मौका है ये जीवन का, मौका है ये जीवन का, गुलजार चमन कर ले, एक बार भजन कर ले। नर इन कानों में सुन तो संतों की वाणी, मन को ठहरा करके बन जा आत्म ज्ञानी। जी हाँ तो चले मुख में, जी हाँ तो चले मुख में। अब ओम जपन कर ले, एक बार भजन कर ले। इस मैली चादर में है दाग लगे कितने, पर ज्ञान के साबुन में है झाग भरे इतने। धुल जाएगी सब स्याही, धुल जाएगी सब स्याही। उजला तन मन कर ले, एक बार भजन कर ले। सुन वेदों में गूंज रही मंत्रों की मधुर ध्वनियां, बलिदान की कड़ियों में तू गूथ नई लड़ियां। प्रभु के आगे अब तो, प्रभु के आगे अब तो नीची गर्दन कर ले, सुबह शाम भजन कर ले। मुक्ति का यतन कर ले, छूट जाएगा जन्म मरण। प्रभु का सिमरन कर ले, एक बार भजन कर ले। धन्यवाद।
Next volunteer. Anybody else want to sing bhajan? Just unmute and start. Premvadaji. Just unmute and start.
Okay, let me sing an old one. We are praying to God to help everybody. It's an old one. तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओम प्यारा, तू ही है रक्षक हमारा। तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओम प्यारा, तू ही है रक्षक हमारा। चांद सूरज सितारे बनाए, पृथ्वी आकाश पर्वत सजाए। चांद सूरज सितारे बनाए, पृथ्वी आकाश पर्वत सजाए। अंत पाया नहीं तेरा, पाया नहीं पाड़वाड़ा। तू ही है रक्षक हमारा। पक्षी गण राग सुंदर है गाते, जीव जंतु भी सर है झुकाते। पक्षी गण राग सुंदर है गाते, जीव जंतु भी सिर है झुकाते। उनको ही सुख मिला तेरी राह पर चला, हमारा। पाप पाखंड हमसे छुड़ाओ, वेद मार्ग पे हमको चलाओ। पाप पाखंड हमसे छुड़ाओ, वेद मार्ग पे हमको चलाओ। लगे भक्ति में मन करे संध्या हवन जगत सारा। तू ही है रक्षक हमारा। अपनी भक्ति में मन को लगाना, सब दुखियों का कष्ट मिटाना। अपनी भक्ति में मन को लगाना, कष्ट सब दुखियों का मिटाना। दुखिया धन वालों का और कंगालों का तू सहारा। तू ही है रक्षक हमारा। तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का ओम प्यारा। तू ही है रक्षक हमारा। थैंक यू।
जीवन की
Dhananji, yeah,
जीवन की
proceed please.
वृथा न खो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। चादर न लंबी ताने के सो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। ओम ही जग का सार है, जीवन है जीवन आधार है। प्रीति न उसकी मन से तजो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। डोला यही है कर्म का, करने को सौदा धर्म का। इसके बिना मार्ग न को, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। साथी बना ले ओम को, मन में बिठा ले ओम को। साथी बना ले ओम को, मन में बिठा ले ओम को। प्रेम की गंगा में बहते रहो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। मुख से ओम उचारिए, हृदय में अर्थ विचारिए। मुख से ओम उचारिए, हृदय में अर्थ विचारिए। श्वासों की माला इसमें पिरो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। मन की गति संभालिए, ईश्वर की ओर डालिए। मन की गति संभालिए, ईश्वर की ओर डालिए। धोना जो चाहे तो जीवन को धो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। जीवन की घड़ियां वृथा न खो, ओम जपो, हरि ओम जपो, ओम जपो, ओम जपो। धन्यवाद।
Thank you for these three beautiful bhajans. The first one line was striking there. We have to bow to Ishwar God, and bowing to Ishwar God means it's not just bowing to Ishwar God, but like we bow to the Father, to the Mother, and to the Gurus. That is, we learn the lessons of life and apply them in our day-to-day life. That is the concept of Ishwar Pranidhan. Be aware that God is watching upon us, watching our thoughts, our words, and our actions. ये सब हमारे कर्म में पड़ते हैं. Then the second bhajan, तू है सच्चा पिता सारे संसार का. And Yog Darshan says, Sarvesham api guru. It gives the example. God is the first guru that we had in this world, and is the first mother and father that we had in this world, by being the creator of this whole universe and creator of the human species. Then the third bhajan was another line which was striking, Jivan ko dholo. So what does that mean? That means purifying our karma in life. That is the only way. Because we have the bath every day, morning, and again in the evening we have to take another bath. Jitna bhi dhoenge sharir ko, मैल तो निकलता ही रहता है. For whatever amount of soap, detergent, and water we use, that body will again needs to be cleaned every day. But the permanent cleansing is the cleansing of our thoughts, of our words, and our deeds. Any other person for bhajan, please? Okay, Ushadi, unmute yourself first.
नमस्कार Just another one. हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार. हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार. भर दो झोली सबको तेरे पूरन भंडार. भर दो झोली सबकी तेरे पूरन भंडार. होवे जब संध्या काल निर्मल होके तत्काल. होवे जब संध्या काल निर्मल होके तत्काल. अपना मस्तक झुका के करके तेरा ख्याल. अपना मस्तक झुका के करके तेरा ख्याल. तेरे दर पे आके बैठा सारा परिवार. तेरे दर पे आके बैठा सारा परिवार. हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार. भर दो झोली सबकी तेरे पूरन भंडार. चाहे दिन हो विपरीत होवे तुझसे ही प्रीत. चाहे दिन हो विपरीत होवे तुझसे ही प्रीत. पूरी श्रद्धा से गाए तेरी भक्ति के गीत. पूरी श्रद्धा से गाए तेरी भक्ति के गीत. होवे सबका प्रभु जी तेरे चरणों में प्यार. होवे सबका प्रभु जी तेरे चरणों में प्यार. हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार. दो झोली सबकी तेरे पूरन भंडार. लेके दिल में फरियाद करते तुझको है याद. लेके दिल में फरियाद करते तुझको है याद. जब हो संकट की घड़ियां मांगे तुमसे इमदाद. जब हो संकट की घड़ियां मांगे तुमसे इमदाद. सबसे बढ़कर जग में ऊंचा तेरा आधार. सबसे बढ़कर जग में ऊंचा तेरा आधार, हम सब मिलके आए दाता तेरे दरबार, भर दो झोली सबकी तेरे पूरन भंडार, भर दो झोली सबकी तेरे पूरन भंडार। ओम शांति शांति।
Thank you, Shadi. This also goes in line with the three previous bhajans. Data Tere Darbar. So whenever we go, as we say, we will always have a bath before going to prayers, wear clean clothes. But the most important is to have a clean heart and a clean mind when we go for prayers. This is what this bhajan is indicating towards. Now, Dhananjayji, for the welcome.
Namaste everyone. Welcome to the Hindu Center of Atlanta's weekly Satsang. Thank you for the wonderful bhajans. Ushaji, Priyambadaji, Premji and Kamleshji. And all the very inspirational bhajans where we pray to the God that God gives us the strength, knowledge, so that we can live our life happily and prosperous life. Last week we celebrated the Hanuman Jayanti, Veer Hanuman. We will learn more about Hanumanji, that whether how knowledgeable he was. He was very powerful and knowledge of the Vedas he had. Acharya will help us to understand whether he was a monkey or he was the person who was living in the forests. Acharya will help us to understand all these things. Acharya also in his post, we learned on the Facebook that how the Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji explaining and describing Hanumanji. So we learn all these things from Acharya ji today.
Om. Namaste, everybody. Welcome. Let's bring our mind to focus, sit down straight, close the eyes gently with the body totally relaxed. We'll do Om Jap 3 times and listening to our own chanting and observing the vibrations of our sound within our own body. Connect to that chanting, please. Slowly, gently open the eyes. I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, that's fine. We always speak about Veer Hanuman ji. But unfortunately, we are skewed on another angle. When we think about Hanuman, we always think about monkey, and our mind keeps wandering, as we say, the monkey mind, jumping from here and there. Looking at Sri Hanumanji, the comments from the Valmiki Ramayana, if we have to sum it up, Aditya Brahmachari, Param Balvan चतुर और बुद्धिमान, रामचंद्र जी के परम भक्त और सहायक, वेदों और व्याकरण के पंडित, अंजनी पुत्र श्री हनुमान जी. And these are also found in the Hanuman Chalisa. If we want to sum it up like this, Brahmachari was celibate and a spiritual seeker, all-powerful, wise, and level-headed. And this is what, when we say Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Sagar, Jai Kapis Tihu Lok Ujagar. So Kapis is, in Sanskrit, means wise, level-headed. Somebody with extraordinary wisdom and equanimity, that is unmoved by whether it's distress or joy. Then a scholar of the Vedas, the Vedic knowledge and Vedic Sanskrit Vyakaran, devotee of Sri Ram, never seen to take a thali and diya and other things to do the arti of Sri Ram, rather following the instructions, the guidance of Sri Ram. And this is the yardstick for devotee, if we want to look at this. And the son of Anjani and Pavan, both human beings, and Hanumanji cannot be otherwise than be a human being. We are used to chant the Hanuman Chalisa. But do we really understand the innate things that are there? I'll try to be covering those elements of the Hanuman Chalisa, especially in these times where we see India, which was known as Vishwa Guru, is at the highest crisis probably known in history. Suffering and bending down to COVID-19. Why? Let's look at one of the reasons. We've been called Vishwa Guru with all the knowledge that may possibly have been given to us by God. Remember, eminent scientists, persons of great learning working throughout the world, leading big corporate organizations. So where did we fail? We failed to learn from what we preach, from what we chant, from what we sing. That's why people, what they did, they looked into the Sanskrit shlokas, the Sanskrit mantras, and made bhajans out of them, rendering them into simple format, leading us to understand that and live our life accordingly. The present dire situation of India, it may hurt people, but let's look at the facts. It's because of negligence, failure to follow the guidelines, and overconfidence of the management of the first wave. People said, if we manage the first wave, we'll be able to manage the second wave. Forgot about all the precautions, that is social distancing, mask wearing, and all the other guidelines. This is the same thing that we do when we are chanting the Hanuman Chalisa. So let's look at it. It starts with a doha, and the doha says, Shri Guru na Charana Saroja Nija. So what does he say here? Guru Charan. When we go to the Guru, we sit down at the feet of the Guru for what purpose? To learn and get the learning applied in our day-to-day life. Not just mere chanting. We have to translate that knowledge in our daily life. Otherwise, we'll remain buddhihin. in spite of chanting that Bal Buddhi Vidya Deho Mohi, will remain Buddhihin, will have all the knowledge but no wisdom. And that is none other than from the Hanuman Chalisa. Then it goes into the Chopai part. It says, Jai Hanuman Gyan Guna Sagar. So we've taken Hanuman to be a monkey and forgotten that he was a learned scholar. He was the ocean of knowledge. And had we learned a bit of the knowledge he had, how he overcame the adversities, the difficulties, to find Sita, to muster the whole Vanara, Van Nar. One means forest, and Nara, they are the Vanar, the forest dwellers. Humans living in the forest. Mustered all of them, get a team, join them as an army, and made Ram successful on the battle to bring back Sita. And that was one of the major roles of Sri Hanumanji. Mahavir Vikram Bajrangi, that Mahavir means the one who is all powerful. And remember, powerful is not only physical force, it also means brain power, wisdom. And this is what Hanumanji uses to get the endeavor to fruition, bringing back Sita, vanquishing Ravan, vanquishing the Rakshasas. Then it says, Kanchan Varan Vija Subesa, Kanan Kundal Kunchit Kesha. Hanuman is said to be wearing pretty dresses, beautifully dressed, with earrings and with long curly hairs. And we have all seen monkeys. None have curly hair. So we have to take the lesson that he was a Param Purush, a person, a human of the highest excellence in gun, karma, sabhav, in character, in deeds, and nature. Then the next step says, Haath vajra aur dhwaja viraje, kandhe muj janev saje. Again, that line offends people if we try to understand that. Haath vajra, we've seen the hand of a monkey, always scratching here and there. How can he hold that lightning mace, that powerful mace, and then also hold the flag and be stable? Kande Munj Janev. We all know within the among the Hindus, so many people don't wear the Janev, or they are denied wearing the Janev for certain illogical reasons. But a monkey wearing a Janev who performed the Japavit Sanskar, the Janev Sanskar of a monkey. And these same people who say that others shouldn't wear Janev, if I bring a monkey to them, will they be able to say, okay, well, this is the representative of Hanumanji and we have to put the Janev there? And will the monkey keep the Janev on the shoulders intact? Let's put the questions. And this is where we faltered. Janev signifies purity of mind, body, and spirit, the free rein, our obligations towards our parents, towards our gurus, and towards Matrerin, Pitrerin, or Rishirin, towards our mother, father, and towards our gurus. And if we go accordingly, if we listen to what our mother, father, and gurus taught us, even though the mother, the father are not of great learning, they will always teach us to be respectful to laws, especially the laws of the country, to be respectful to the laws of nature, to be respectful to Mother Earth. And if we see COVID, it started, we say it came from animals to men, because आहार में हम वहां पे चूक गए. And then the spreading of that because we failed to respect the basic precautions, and spread also further because we failed to respect the laws of the country, the lockdowns, etc. We were keen to go out rather than going in. Nature was sending us a message, go inside, delve inside. If we are reading the Hanuman Chalisa, understand what is in between the lines, apply that in our life, then we would have helped ourselves. After that, we say, God help only those who help themselves. So we need to help ourselves. Vidyavan guni ati chatur, Ram kaj karibe ko atur. He was, we said, the ocean of knowledge. Vidyavan guni ati chatur. He knew how to apply that knowledge in day-to-day life. And that's why he succeeded in doing what Ram requested him to do. Then we say, Sukshma Roop Dhari Siya Dikhava Virat Roop Dhari Lanka. Virat Roop Dhari Lanka Jalava. We need to understand, Sukshma Roop Dhari, it was in all humility that he approached Sita to make her aware that he is the messenger of Sri Ram. But when needed, you remember when we were chanting that mantra, Manyurasi Manyummai Dehi. When needed against evil doings, when we have to manifest our wrath towards evil, we shouldn't hesitate. And this is what Hanumanji is telling us. Then the next one says, Sahasra badan tumharo yash gave. Why do we still chant the name of Hanumanji? Not because he was praying to Ram, but he was rather following the footsteps and the guidance of Sri Ram, the instructions of Sri Ram. So he was a karma yogi. And that karma yogi, we find that same message being taken up by Sri Krishna in the Gita. And we say, Yam Kuber Dikpal Jahan te Kavi Kovid Kahi Sake Kahan te Tum Upkar Sugrivam Kinha Ram Milaye Rajpad Dinha. Why he managed all those situations is just because he knew about applying the knowledge in day-to-day life. When and which, how to deal with each and every situation, he managed that fairly well. And this is what we have to learn from the Hanuman Chalisa. Tumro mantra vibhishan mana lankeshwar bhai sab jag jana yug sahasra yojan par bhanu lilyo tahi madhur phal janu. Vibhishan recognized Hanumanji, but Lankeshwar Ravan failed. When he says Yug Sahasra Yojana Parabhanu, speaking about the velocity of light, and this is the personality, the brilliance of the personality of Sri Hanuman. Let's learn and become brilliant as that. Wherever we go, the shining personality moves even before we reach that place. And this is what we learn from Sri Hanuman. Then it says, Ram duvare tum rakhware, hot na aya bin pasare, sab sukh lai tumhari saran, tum rakshak kahut ko darna. So why should we fear? And we know when it says tum rakshak kahut ko darna, that goes with a shlok from Manusmriti, dharma rakshita. When we are on the path of dharma, dharma will protect us and we have nothing to fear. It's not by putting a flag or by putting a murti that will be protected. We have to live up to the ideals of the life of Sri Hanuman so that we can protect ourselves and in turn protect the whole world. When it says Bhoot Pisach Nikat, just 1 minute. Bhoot Pisach Nikat nahi aave, Mahavir jab naam sunave. When we are on the path of righteousness, when it says Mahavir jab naam sunave, it's not a question of only doing the naam jap. I always say Charitar ki puja. When we move on the same toes, we follow the footprints of that great personality of Hanumanji. So no evil-minded person will be able to approach and harm us. Then, Nase rog hare sab pira japat nirantar. Sankat se Hanuman churavi. And when we know Sankat se Hanuman churavi, he went in search of the Sanjivani booty. This is what scientists have been doing in the time of COVID, looking for the remedy. But then we have to bear in mind that whatever be the remedies that are brought to us, we need to abide by the instructions, by the recommendations, by the guidelines to that. The next one says, Charon jug partap tumhara har prasid jagat ujyara, sadhu sant ke tum rakhware, asur nikandan ram dulare. It's only by towing the footprints, following the footsteps in whatever he achieved and how he achieved. Let's learn from the strategies, the tactics. Then we'll be like Sri Hanumanji. And Ashta Siddhi Nava Nidhi. This is the characteristics of the yogi, Ashtang Yoga, Yam Niyam Asan, Pranayam Pratyahar Dharana Dhyan and Samadhi. If we do two things in this world of today, some yogasan and some pranayam will boost our immunity. And one of the most prominent asan would be Surya Namaskar, the cycle of 12 body postures. Because at each step, we are either stretching out our lungs or compressing our diaphragm and compressing our lungs. This increases the usage of the lungs. And remember, COVID attacked the lungs. Hinders our lung usage. So if we learn a bit from Hatha Yoga, learn some meditation to be able to boost our morale, sit down quietly, learn to look into the inner peace within us, do some yogasana, the asanas, Surya Namaskar especially, some stretch out just to increase the lung usage, and some pranayam breathing exercises where we control our breath, we increase the lung usage, will increase the level of oxygen in our body, will boost our immunity. It's not only by chanting Hanuman Chalisa, but putting it into practice, which is more important. Then we'll be able to be our own. Remember, the next line says, Ram Rasayan Tumhare Paas. That is the Rasayan. Rasayan means the life-protecting element in Ayurveda. Rasayan are the highest form of medication in Ayurveda to protect life. And there are only a few elements in that. And this is what it is leading to. Then it says, Tumhare bhajan Ram ko pave. With all the 4 bhajan that we heard after the yaj, it leads us to be practical, to put those bhajan into practice in our life. And when, remember, chanting the Hanuman Chalisa is good, but drawing inspiration from that, learning the lessons out of it and applying them in life is more important. And this is how we'll be able to become the ideals like Sri Ram Chandra ji was and Hanuman ji was. So if we want to delve into whatever is said there, Hanuman was the savior because he learned how to put the knowledge into practice. So when we are chanting Hanuman Chalisa or Ramcharitamanas or Valmiki Ramayana, whatever we are doing, let's try to put them into practice in our life. I have come across a very beautiful comment by somebody, which I'll read because this is an extract from an article. India will overcome. And in the words of Khalid Umar, I think it appeared in The Guardian and was taken by one of the local press in Mauritius. The present situation is also not about medical facilities only. It's about the general attitude towards protection and safety. And that attitude of India chalta hai, that has to be stopped. We need to have the due regards to protection and safety. It says, it is also about the necessity to go out for work. Not everyone has the work from home facility in India as the Western world has. I agree. But then we have to give due regards to protection and safety. But in India, the worst is the political lot. Since it was a UK writer, he was referring to the UK situation. Here in the UK, there are no partisan politicians who would do point scoring during a national emergency. Had the opposition and the press been so dumb, bad in the UK a year ago, Boris Johnson would long have been history. But no, everyone rallied behind their PM for the national cause. This is what India needs today. Instead of trying to turn the government out, remember, turning the government out and putting a new one the next day doesn't solve the problem. It may be for the good, but it may also be for the worse. But what needs today is national solidarity. And the author continues, with all these heavy odds, whatever India has done to combat the pandemic is commendable. There has been a wave of philanthropic nationalism. People have come forward to help one another. India has the capacity to combat this pandemic. All that India needs is patriotism, humanism, and rallying around the national leadership. Definitely, a much better prescription than the prevailing ambient cynicism and negativism. Perhaps, after all, India does really need a stronger but not a weaker centralized government. This is really an inspiring words in the world of today. Remember, India doesn't lack money to fight this problem. What it lacks, the appropriate resources. I think it's a call to humanity at large throughout the whole world. Not, as we say, to go on parigraha, retaining resources beyond what we need. And this is what halted or couldn't allow India to produce the amount of vaccines needed because of the patent rights, because of the ingredients which are not available, readily available because of patents. You can't just manufacture them. And it shows the deficiency in the human characteristics throughout the world. And if we manage the situation well within ourselves, remember the positive vibrations. Remember what our teachings, I went through the Hanuman Chalisa, especially today, just to show that we have to learn what is in between the lines and apply them in daily life. That will move us from spreading the negativities and the negative vibrations, rather be on the positive side of life, spreading the positivity around, and that will turn around this situation. There's also the rush. One is the negative media there, but there's also the unnecessary rush to hospitals. Remember, it says only 1% of those who catch COVID needs the critical care, the ICU. But we find everybody who is being tested positive rushes for oxygen. There's no need for that. If they had practiced some yogasanas, some pranayam, they would have maintained a safe and sound level of oxygen within their body. Their body would have brought the necessary energy to combat this problem. Unfortunately. So whenever we are talking to somebody or we are spreading knowledge, let's be on the positive side. It's good to draw attention to the negativity so that people know what we have to stop around. But it's more about spreading the positivities. I think it's more about going back to the source, going back to some yogasana and pranayam, going back to our food habits, taking haldi, ajwain, taking giloy and all these medicinal herbs. And last but not least, doing yajya, agnihotra daily. That is one way. And we don't need to go outside for samagri. We'll just take a few of the sweet spices that we have, mix it with ghee, light a lamp with a standing wick, and put dropwise into that. Each time we say swaha, that's the micro yads. If we do that, we'll boost our immunity. I'm not saying this is a remedy to COVID, but this will boost our immunity, will increase our resistance to the dangers that COVID may bring to our life. So we still have to go back to the source knowledge, the knowledge of Ayurveda, which is derived from the Vedas, the knowledge of healthy eating, healthy living, and a healthy lifestyle. And for those who feel the deficiency of oxygen, just practice deep breathing, inhale and exhale. Some stretch out to expand the lung usage, and at the same time, read about positive things to boost our morale. I've gone, I think, 7-8 minutes beyond the time. So I'll end here just with one note. Hope that has provided some insight. The whole world is curving under the pandemic. If each and every one of us puts our effort, we'll overcome this situation. As the song goes, hum honge kamyab, but requires each and every individual effort to that. Let's join in prayers. Sarve bhavanto sukhina, sarve santo niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyanto, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Thank you for your attention. Namaste.
Thank you, Acharya. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Acharya's lecture today about Hanumanji and about the COVID, very relevant to the present situation. We can contribute in educating back home, whoever is here, being more scientific people, and even doctors I talk to India, they are still hesitant of getting the vaccines, and they are not encouraging the common people, common masses to get the vaccines and follow the scientific temperament. So whoever can talk back home in India and encourage everybody to be in the listen to the research, top scientists, but still at the lower level, ground level, small town level, the doctors are still not that good who can promote the scientific temperament. Moving forward, Vandana ji will start with the Aarti.
ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। जो धावे फल पावे, दुख बिन से मन का। स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। मात पिता तुम मेरे, शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी। स्वामी शरण गहूँ मैं किसकी। तुम बिन और न दूजा, प्रभु बिन और न दूजा, आस करूं मैं जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा, तुम अंतर्यामी। स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी। पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता। स्वामी तुम पालन करता। मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी, मैं सेवक तुम स्वामी, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम हो एक अगोचर, सबके प्राणपति। स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। किस विधि मिलूं दया में, किस विधि मिलूं दया में, तुमको मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। दीन बंधु दुख हरता, तुम रक्षक मेरे। स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे। अपने हाथ उठाओ, अपने हाथ उठाओ, द्वार पड़ा मैं तेरे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा, स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा, ओम जय जगदीश हरे। स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे, ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
Shanti Path. Sit down straight, close the eyes gently, chanting the Shanti Path in the yogic meditative form. Remember, it's prayers for universal peace, and we owe a duty to be peaceful to every element of this planet Earth and the universe, and then we'll reap inner peace and peace all around us. Om Dyo Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apah Shanti Oshadhaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishve Deva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O God, by your grace, may the luminous bodies be peaceful, Antariksh, the space, the sky be peaceful, Prithvi, the earth be peaceful, Apa, the waters be peaceful, Oshadhayaha, the seasonal crops and medicinal plants be peaceful, Vanaspataya, the perennial plants and vegetation be peaceful, Vishwe Deva, the learned and elderly be conducive to peace and prosperity. Brahma, may the supreme creator, reliever of pains and afflictions, bring us peace. Sarvam, may the universe be peaceful. Shanti Reva, may peace be peaceful. Sama Shanti, may that peace be with us. And Om Shanti, 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 may there be cosmic, physical, and spiritual peace. May we be free from Adhyatmik, Adibautik, and Adidavik Dukkha. Pujan Mantra. Om Annapate Annasya no Deyanamivasya Sushmina Prapradataram Tarisha Urjanno Dehi Dvipade Chatushpade. हे अन्न के स्वामिन प्रभु, आप हमें अन्न दो जो रोग रहित और पुष्टि कारक हो। आप अन्नदाता का कल्याण करो, दो पाए और चौपाए प्राणियों आदि में तेज धारण करो। O अन्नदाता, ईश्वर, giver of food, kindly provide us with energy and health promoting food. Grant serenity to all those who give food in charity. May all living beings be blessed with energy-giving food. Om Shanti, Shanti,